Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Cosmic Calico coming to you live today for more balloons and a whole lot of stuff because LA is continuing in its craziness of the world and all the stupid stuff that's going on there, but it's all been set up in advance. Everything is like it always has been for the past 4 years. Whenever there's any of these protests or riots, they're all bought and paid for. But we'll deal with that later. For now, let's play some Bloons. All right, a good old Insta-Monkey. Typical of the plane. What map shall we do today? Actually, first things first, we have a new monkey that will be coming out here pretty soon. Let me see. Where is that? Usually it's under there, but Alt-Tab. So the new Desperado monkey is coming out on the 18th, and that is going to be a fun one. He has a lot of unique powers that I think are going to be really good, especially for dealing with like purples and leads and stuff. So this is going to be real good paired with like Sniper Monkey. So you can really take down all the leads and ceramics effortlessly. Although you can always use a good old Ring of Fire to do that too, but this will add a whole new element of gameplay, and I'm looking forward to trying this guy out. There's a video if you want to give it a shot and go look at it. Give it a shot. But he's got a lot of different abilities, which are going to gel really well with the other towers. Of course, Ninja Kiwi is always great at making all the towers work cohesively, which is why the game is so good and so popular, you know? Middle Path gains a slower firing rifle with exceptionally high range and the skill to increase the chance of criticals the further away the targets are. That's going to be a fun one, like I said. Desperado plus Sniper, that's definitely happening. But look forward to this guy coming out here pretty soon. And skip ahead, see what we find. Just a little teaser clip here. But if you go look at their YouTube channel on the Ninja Kiwi site or on their YouTube, you will see a whole lot more about it, and I think you'll dig it. So, without further ado, I may as well just go ahead and slip it in here now. You see this creator support right here? If you go there and you type in Calico, you will be helping me earn money from all the Ninja Kiwi purchases that come through. That would be showing me a lot of goodwill towards all my efforts here. And I thank you immensely if you decide to put me in there for your creator code. All right. Let's give Bazaar a go. Quiet Street, that's something I'm going to do on my own. I had enough trouble with that initially when I was playing last year, so I will go back to that at a different time. But Bazaar, that's a fun one. A little bit hectic, but not too bad. Let's go with medium, standard. Now, who do we want to start with? Because this is always a tough choice. One thing that I think matters here a lot, other than obviously placement, is definitely range. So I'm thinking we'll start with a good old Boomerang Monkey up here. And then can I fit you in here? Will you work? Probably barely. Barely. Okay, let's see how bad this works. Figure infinite. And let's see what happens. Not too terrible, but still not ideal, that's for sure. We're missing half our shots. But so far, Boomerang is helping. Working out pretty good up there. And here comes the hard part. This is what I was afraid of by picking the plane. but, or powers, or monkey knowledge, I should say, save this from that. Ideally, you want to go bottom path. But yeah, I'm going to restart. I can tell that that's not going to work at all. Now for later rounds, Blaine would definitely work. But we can also just keep it simple. Okay. Actually, we'll put them right here. Double boomerang, because why not? So far, so good. But that's to be expected because it's boomerang. Now, why did I put them up here and not here too? Well, later rounds get really tight up there too, but it would have been better to place them down there. We'll see. I really just need to upgrade. And sorry, there are no brick throwing monkeys here, but you know. Can't have that going on. But throwing boomerangs, that's pretty close to throwing bricks. They just don't bounce back. Haha, well, that's what you think. Until I get to one of the videos I have loaded up or later on. Who will I go for next? That is the question. We got 60 rounds here. So far, so good. It's hard to not use Boomerang Monkey because he's just so good. They really souped him up with these last few updates, and it has been well worth it. Up. All right. One thing we can do. I'll give us more Pierce. But as you can see, Tack Shooter is not like it once was, like it used to be, and that is unfortunate. Because this used to be the most OP tower, but they had to go and balance it. Damn it, Ninja Kiwi, why'd you have to go and balance it? We loved our old tower the way it was, destroying everything in its sight with an alchemist and a monkey village. Man, it was easy to shred through quite literally any level, or any map, I should say. I'm so used to saying level for most games. I'm still not even used to saying maps after so many years of Bloons. All right, play Ricochet. Now we're good. And it took too long to get there, but you know, it's a warm-up. And we are gonna need camo protection, of course. When don't you need camo protection in this game? The question is, who do I want to go for? I guess we will slap down a ninja. Don't have to do too much upgrading for that part. Let him focus on camos. Everyone else is pretty much good to go. Nice. And there we go. We got some good traction here. Wonderful. Now we just need to try and save up for something a little bit better before round 40, so we can take out the Moab. Otherwise, we are not going to have a fun time here. There we go. Got him. I just love the way that looks whenever the glaives go through all the balloons like that. And then it circles back around and just absolutely smashes everything in sight. It's wonderful. That's why Boomerang is one of my favorite monkeys. All right. Good work there, Ninja Monkey. I need to rename him into something, but Naruto or Sasuke, that's too cliche. Overdrive. No reason not to grab that. I guess I'd go with Shinobi, but that's too cliche too, but I'm hitting more at the old Sega games. Just go ahead and grab it, and we'll see what happens here. Alright. Yep, nope. That is not going to hold up. So I should have enough to do what I'm thinking. Let's see what we can make happen here. There we go, Moab Mauler. Bombs. This may or may not work. It may require a whole restart of this thing. Oh, so close. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a restart. All right. Well, we know what worked and what didn't work. This is always a good spot too. And if I have this idea work out, that'd be great, but we will see. All right. And I try not to put everything in the center on this map too, because it's always the corners that are going to give you the real problems. That's why I started off up in the corner initially. But that did not work out for us, so. But the corners would always work out with a dart monkey. Spactory, it'd be too expensive. So I'm not thinking about buying a Spactory. But faster reload. I'll snag you. You know, with all these paid for riots going on right now with the crocodile tear crowd and all the military aged illegals that have been flown in for the past 4 years, because that's really everyone down there that's participating in this stupid shenanigan. We gotta keep the fire in here. Gotta keep the red hot rings. Keep the blade ricochet. Alright. Bigger bombs. No, we'll launcher next. I'm deep in thought as I think about what moves I'm gonna make next. Because if I don't do that, then the Bloons win. We can't have the Bloons winning. That's just not right. They're not supposed to win. They're supposed to lose this war. Something else that would also might be a solid idea. Throw a boat down. Grape shot, faster shooting, the usual. But protecting the corners, that's going to be really the most important thing. Unless I try to concentrate everything here in the center, but that's usually never a good idea on Bazaar. And we still have some time. Now there is one way to use factory on this map that tends to work out, and that's to throw them down right there. But I don't want to spend the money on that yet. Yep, I just missed that, so no surprise. But we'll throw an engine down again, and we will see what happens. Hot shot. Hot shot's probably the closest thing we have to bricks. You know, gotta throw those bricks and try to kill people. Actually, you shouldn't. That's completely and utterly psychopathic and sociopathic, but you know, complete disregard for human life. That's not something we need in the world. That's what we need to get rid of as much as possible. Could go cannon ship, but destroyer, that offers map-wide protection, so we're always going to typically grab destroyer. Now, in the case of a ton of Moabs and BFBs, then yeah, we would definitely go cannon ship and grab middle path. Go ahead and get double shot. More glaives. Alright, now we got to work on Moab Mauler. We should be pretty decently covered. And Druid is also great on this map for obvious reasons. But hopefully we can grab a destroyer. We got our Moab Mauler. We can grab a destroyer. We're safe for the most part. But let's see what happens. Getting the corners, that's really the biggest concern here. Everything in the center is not too difficult. Almost there. We have a few more rounds to go, so let's save and see what we can do. Because ideally, I'd also want to get Bloonjutsu, but let's see if we got enough left over. We'll definitely need heavy bombs. So go ahead and grab it. All right, here we go. Let's find out. We're going to be safe. Oh, perfect. Boom, we got it. That is what I'm talking about. All right, now is when we want to grab Bloonjutsu. Almost to an aircraft carrier. Perfect. This is working out pretty good so far. Oh, here come those purples. Those nasty, nasty purples. Purples and purple camo. Those are no fun. But that's why Desperado is going to be such a great tower to use. I think that he's going to come in very handy for dealing with all that kind of cleanup. All right. Perfect. Now we've got map-wide coverage where barriers won't matter. they will matter to a sniper monkey, unfortunately. He's pretty much screwed on this map, unless he's aiming straight down and dealing with BFBs and Moabs and everything else down there. Now, this is the time where I could throw down a plane. Moab Assassin, we'll get that momentarily. Alright. I don't remember where the next Moab comes in at this point, but we'll deal with it as it comes to us. Okay, still down there. They do come from different areas. Alright, let's go ahead and throw down a plane. Figure infinite. Damn. It's a little too late, but that's fine. Center path. Should I go bomber ace? Nah. I feel like never miss targeting would be better. But bomber ace is cheaper. So, no, we're gonna go with never miss targeting. And spy plane, that'll also help with the cleanup, so he can work in conjunction with good old ninja monkey. That loss was unfortunate, but that's the way the balloon pops sometimes, you know. Sometimes you pop the balloons, and sometimes the balloons pop you. But now we're protecting, and our defenses are looking much better. Ideally, we want to snag a Glaive Lord, one of my most used towers, because I like to play with as little effort as possible. But we are doing just fine right now. No worries. So far, so good. And we're almost done with medium on standard mode. Come on, monkey team, you can do it. You can do it, monkey team. Aye. Get him. Oh, shit. That sucks. Yeah. Can't believe that just happened. But I didn't know that was going to come my way. So we'll just go back in and think about that one real quick. This is an area where, well, technically SADA would help there a ton. But we're not using SADA, so we have enough money that we could just throw down stack. And we should be good. Yep. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What? Come on, come on. Damn, really? Even that didn't hold up? Okay, that's actually kind of a shocker. Let's give it one more go. We know Spactory is going to work. Actually, we could throw him down, but I'm not going to risk that. So we will just throw down another Spactory and give it one more go with bigger stacks. We'll go with Moab Shredder and Spike Storm this time. No reason not to. And we will launch this one. Which was right there. Oh man. I mean, it could have been worse. Like, that's just the truth. Like, it could have been worse. Thankfully, it was not worse. All right. Let's keep going with medium. Military only. Oh boy. Well, with military only, I'm probably gonna want to use Sada this time around. But really, 2 boats should do a lot if I just tweak them. But I also have to think about, well, I think we'll be fine if I just do 2 boats to start. All right. You can call them boats, you can call them pirate monkeys, you can call them whatever you wish. But the fact is, they're still boats. All right. So far, so good. No surprise there, though. All right. Grape shot. Long range. Which is going to be kind of crappy, but you'll see where this is going. It's not ideal, but it'll be close enough. Fast shooting. Because if this works the way I'm hoping and thinking it should, then we should be pretty well covered between Crow's Nest and getting 2 destroyers. And really, I could work on my verbiage. Instead of saying and getting, I should be saying and buying 2 destroyers. But hey, who really cares that much? If you care that much, well, I get it, but at the same time, no. That's just not how I always speak. And that is A-okay. Double shot, Crow's Nest. Go ahead and snag that first. So far, so good. And we have camo protection already enabled here, so shouldn't have too much to worry about. Although my cat is worried and she wants her food. But I don't want to step away just yet. Sorry guys, my cats also come first, so if they're hungry, I gotta pop out for half a second. But so far we're holding up pretty well. So I will disappear for just a second. And I'm back, and we're doing just fine. That right there was unfortunate, but that's the way the bloom pops sometimes. They get past you. Unfortunately, Monkey Knowledge steps in and helps out with some tax down there. You can't tell they're taxed because I have the flower skin on them, but we are almost to a destroyer. Almost there. And then think about who I want to buy next. It just sucks that you can't put him in the center. He's just too much, but they did that on purpose. I'm certain of that. All right. We'll get at least 1 destroyer. All right. I got to think toward Moabs too. And who's going to be best at dealing with that? Really, it's these two. Wonderful. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with grabbing a sniper. He can definitely help deal with the Moabs and everything else that comes with dealing with Moab class balloons. But he's so expensive. Fast firing. No, we're gonna give him night vision and shrapnel shot. So we have extra camo protection. All right, there we go. Get them. Get them, soldiers. This is the Bloons getting destroyed by the Monkey National Guard right now, much like the illegals and the insane people and paid protesters are getting owned by the National Guard in LA. Wow, who knew? Parallels between monkeys and BTD6 and our military taking care of the trash. Oh, I appreciate the beard compliment. Appreciate it. At least I'm old enough to grow a beard, right? Ooh, burned. Come on, you can get it, you can get it. Almost. Oh, perfect. Just barely held up under pressure on that one. Ah, deadly precision and main Moab. All right, now we're clear there. Bammo. Now we can save up toward 50. So far, so good. We will definitely need a little bit of extra protection, though. Snag that destroyer. All right. Wonderful. Now we better throw down a plane. Forget. I think you can remove something down here, but nah. It's gonna be a tough one. All right. Sharpen darts. Miss targeting. Rapid fire. You can't ever go wrong with the Spectre, folks. Spectre is one of the best towers in the game. Really, all three towers are great. But Spectre is definitely the bomb.com. Nice. And like that, Moab class taken care of, no problem. Came in with a plan, and the plan worked out, no problems. Much better than that first run, that's for sure. Oh man, so close. We're leaking, which is no bueno. But that's also not much of a surprise. We'll snag an air carrier aircraft, and now we're good. Wasn't paying attention to my money there. Whoops. And now 2 aircraft carriers. And we are golden. Nothing's getting past this. If it does, it's a miracle. But I don't foresee that happening. Not even a little bit. That was a close call there with that leakage, but that's why it's important that you pay attention to your money as much as possible. And Sniper is working in conjunction with this guy here to take care of all our balloon problems. All right, there we go. That is military monkeys only. Bazaar taken care of. Apocalypse, oh boy. We will do that, but just in case you missed it earlier and you're just now tuning in, be sure to go and click that creator support in your settings and type in the creator code Calico to help me out, getting a small percentage of the purchases in the Bloons store. Good old Apocalypse. This ought to be fun. Gotta think, who do I want to start with here? That's the fun one. Honestly, just start with a boat. Kind of the best option to start with outside of Sada, which we may use Sada this round. There's no reason not to. And that is exactly why. I'm not so certain. Well, let's see. Can he handle that all? If he can, that helps us. So far, so good, but I think we'd be cutting it too close. Come on, Sada. Get in there. There we go. So are all of you looking forward to the new Desperado monkey? I think he's going to be a great addition to the Bloons monkey team. I'm really looking forward to that mark ability because that's going to absolutely destroy on pretty much most maps. And it may even make geared maps easier because that's easily one of the toughest maps in the game is geared. And probably ouch too. Hashtag ouch. Oh man. All right. Rape shot. Double shot. This one is going to definitely take a fair amount of focus, but we should be able to get through it. Might also help a whole lot to slow these things down. Oh yeah, I think that's going to help a lot, but bigger globs or glue soak. Soaks through all layers of the balloons, so we're going to go specifically with slowing down. And hoping that will give us the edge that we need here, and it should. So far, so good. Hot shot. We're also going to need to focus on camo, but Sada should be able to handle that for the most part. We'll probably end up grabbing either a plane and a sniper, probably both, to deal with that. Double shot. And we've got a Sada ability if we need to use it. And this is why Sada is the best. Yeah, slowing them down was absolutely the right idea. They are not happy Bloons today. They are very aggressive, just like all the rioters down in LA. Very aggressive. What? All right, blue splatter. We'd be fine without the destroyer for just a moment. But grab our friend here. Oh boy. Had to do that. All right. We need to get our destroyer ASAP. That's going to help tremendously. And then we will go for a plane. All right, come on, we can do it. Ah, that's no good. Throw it down. Come on, help us not die. Oh, goodness. That was a desperation buy. We don't need to keep him there. We're almost there to the destroyer. Almost. But shrapnel is cheap, so we'll do that. That'll give us a little extra leeway. How's it going, Twinkie? Appreciate you joining here. All right, destroyer time. All right, that'll help us a lot. And then I'm going to go for deadly precision because I'm thinking forward towards the Moabs. Of course, Moab Blue will also help a lot. So. Could get bouncing bullet, but that's not going to do the damage that we're going to need it to do. Ah, crap. I absolutely knew it was going to go down like this for Apocalypse. Alright. Sharper darts. We're going to want spy plane. Again. Never miss targeting. All right. We're pretty well covered, and we should be able to get pretty close to not dying from Moabs by round 40. We'll have to see how that goes, though, but we're almost there. Ideally, aircraft carrier. I don't think we're going to get $8 grand in time, so we have to rely on deadly precision. But it could be worse, and instead of centered path, I'm going to put it on figure infinite just so we can get those pineapples on the track. And since it's never missed targeting, it doesn't matter all that much. We're close to getting the main Moab, and then we are solid for a moment. And the thing about using Sada's ability on this map is you can't guarantee that she's going to land where the balloons are leaking at, unfortunately. So that's also an unreliable plan of action on the absolute chaos that is this map. Which chaos is the buzzword of the week for obvious reasons. See, that's where you'll end up using it, but it still doesn't guarantee success. That was a close one though. We were almost there. Just go ahead and continue. Everyone else would normally just restart, but I ain't got time for that. And I'm not everyone else. So there, we got our aircraft carrier, so. Now we're solid. You got cash, use it. It's really that simple. We were close though. We were only a grand away from snagging an aircraft carrier. Not too sure what else would have helped us in that moment. Sada is only doing so much because she's barely level 10. If she were level 10, we would have been just fine. Alright, let's get ourselves a Moab blue. Relentless blue. Which blue gunner is pretty cracked itself too. Come on, you're supposed to be never miss. Stop missing. Boy, oh boy. Alright. Now we know that we're getting railroaded by camos. So the next best option, we are just going to grab another boat again because that's what worked last time. We're going to get grape shot instead. And yeah, we'll grab a camo ship. And monkey pirates, do something different this time. And there we go. Oh god, losing at round 60 on Apocalypse just after restart to lose the money to make half of it or most of it back. I mean, that's just the way the latex pops in this game. But we made it through and it wasn't perfect. Not every game you play on here is going to be perfect anyway. And that is important to remember. Because too many people have these weird expectations of other players that they're supposed to be perfect. No, you're going to lose. But what matters is that you make it through. Reverse is not too much different than standard, but I think we can end it there on Apocalypse because, well, that was honestly pretty funny. All right, that is it for the Bloons segment today, but I will be right back. All right, and I'm back. Wow, my breaks are short. Who knew? All right. Now we move on to everything else that we got to go through today. First, I need to make sure. All right. All right, so now we are to the fun stuff, the other fun stuff. I love my little monkeys. They're the best. But I've found a couple of dating and relationship related TikToks that I think are pretty damn hilarious in certain ways. But this first one here, this could be staged, who knows? Even if it's not, like, we should talk about things like this because this is the problem with a lot of women in dating today, especially with the younger folks and even some of the older women. But without further ado, let's hit play on this. This is interesting to say the least.
Right here is broke. He's broke. Look at him. Look at him.
I'm gonna take you home. I'm gonna take you back home.
Home?
I'm gonna take you back home. Yeah, I'm gonna take you home.
I look like this in your car right now, and you want to take me home. You sure about that?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
And you can get any other day, right? Just like you said, you can get any dude.
Hey, how's it going, Amy? Thanks for joining.
Right? You can.
How are you doing today?
Get that at any time, right?
So now we're not going on the date because you don't want to pay more than Starbucks.
Oh, it's not bad. See, money's no option.
So if money's no option, then why aren't we going on the date? Like an actual date.
Because one, you trying to put me on blast. Like, you got your phone out filming this
Like, really?
interaction right now.
Okay,
For what
because
reason?
I thought I was getting pranked at this point.
Okay.
Like, it feels like it's not real because I've never had a grown man take me to Starbucks for a date. What is this, high school?
You never had a grown man in general.
That's true. She never has.
You know, you acting really unappreciative. Like, you expect me to take you to some 5-star restaurant right out the gate. You know what? I'm gonna do you one better. I'm not even gonna take you home.
You know, what?
Any dude can come and get you and take you out, right? Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and make sure that's the case. We'll pull over right
Are
here.
you serious?
Yep, go
You're
ahead and
not
get out.
serious. Are you?
Yep.
Go ahead
Get
and
the
get
fuck on out of here, girl.
You know what?
Step out my car.
Yep.
Whatever.
Go back on your profile. Ask one of them dudes to pick you up.
I just, wow. I mean, but you know, whether that's staged or not, who cares? The point that the video is making is like totally true. Like, you can't sit here and expect like this bullshit princess treatment on a first date with the absolute slew of women who start their day off with Starbucks every morning. It's absolutely fascinating to me that a female would be so offended to go to Starbucks. It's a first date. You're getting to know someone. You're not at a stage for marriage. You're not at a stage for being serious, frankly. To have these massively entitled expectations of someone to throw rose petals at your feet for no reason is just mind-blowing. It really is. But that's part of the problem with dating today, is people don't understand how things really work. Everyone's out here manipulating everyone through TikTok and fake dating coaches and bad dating coaches and people who are clearly narcissists that are trying to push people in a certain direction for their own amusement. And that sets these ridiculous expectations that are pure and utter nonsense. Truthfully, if you're gonna go somewhere on a first date, it shouldn't be expensive. Have fun, get to know each other. That's the whole point. That's why it's called dating. You're meeting someone new. Like, if we just translate dating, it's meeting someone new with the potential or hoping for the potential to blossom into a long-term relationship. That's the whole point of dating. And with these toxic mindsets, with these entitled mindsets, you're going to miss every single person who could be good for you. Because you think that you're a princess. You think that you're a queen, girl. You ain't shit. Women who go around treating men this way, and doing this and recording all this stuff, trying to play victim for likes on social media, they're the problem. And they'll always be the problem. So props to this guy for absolutely just kicking her straight out the car and leaving her arrogant ass on the street where she belongs. That is the biggest red flag I've seen in a while on here. And I'm pretty sure that's something old, but the point being, like, man, like, I just don't. It's hard to have a lot of words for these kinds of actions because it tells you a lot about how the person was raised, the types of people they hang around, what they watch, and who they listen to. That just tells you that you should never strive to be someone like that. And it's Vegas too, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was legit. Honestly, I'm not even going to sit here and try to guess because there's so much fake reality content out there. But, you know, regardless of that, it proves a point. But, you know, I'm just glad that this guy took the right initiative. If someone is that unappreciative of meeting you or even having a conversation with you, you don't need that shit in your life. man or woman, anyone who acts like this, you don't need them. Period. There is no excuse for it. And it just shows that they themselves have a lot of psychological traumas that they haven't dealt with in their lives, which is a sad thing. There's so much help out there that someone can go get to deal with these problems and learn how to communicate, learn how to have a conversation, how to have back and forth and show real interest in someone. You know, relationships aren't all about the money. They're not all about the gifts and the things. They're about the connection that you share with someone. That is the true gift of a relationship. Like, wow, who knew? A relationship and dating is about the gift of being with someone for the time that you're with them, whether that's, you know, a small amount of time or forever. And unfortunately, people like this female here, you know, she's probably young and she's been too manipulated by the massive amount of narcissistic manipulators that exist on TikTok. So she doesn't know any better. She has so much growing to do, but unfortunately, a lot of these people don't grow out of that mindset. And then they wonder why they're still single. Well, that would be why. No one's going to tolerate that kind of shit from people, especially men. Like, that's so unbelievably disrespectful. Like, I would, you know, it's funny he drove off, but, you know, if that were me, I would have just been like, bye. No one has time for that. Like, don't do this kind of stuff to people. And then to put someone on blast on social media, like, who the fuck do you think you are? That goes to all you women who do this kind of stuff. If you can't answer that question and your only response is, I'm worth it, you're not worth it. There is a slew of things that you have to go through in self-development before you can really say, I'm worth it. No, don't get me wrong, because everyone has intrinsic value. That's not what I'm saying. You are a human being. You have value because you are a soul. You are a person. You have value. But when you have a 5-foot wall of shit in front of that value, that you're masking all of your rejections, your traumas, your disappointments, and your failures that you have yet to address or learn from, well, this is going to be the end result. Every time. You have to knock down that fucking wall of shit before you can get with someone, folks. That's where the entitlement comes from. A lot of it is really just fear or sadness, or you're scared. That knowledge from me comes both from experience and, you know, actually studying psychology and seeing therapists throughout my life to help overcome these things. Like, man, the one thing that people really need to do in life, pick up one of these babies. It's called a journal. You use this thing right here and you write down the things that are in here. And then you tell yourself the truths of those things, or the lies, the delusions. That's what these are for. You pair that with a mental health professional, a therapist, a psychologist, someone who gives a fucking shit about you. And guess what? You'll grow. You'll be able to figure yourself out. And when you figure yourself out, you have even more value to offer to the world. You're not as hurt by certain actions. You can better cope with those things that do hurt you and those people who have hurt you. You'll be able to better communicate with potential partners. You'll know your boundaries. You'll know what you really want. You don't want all this fake bullshit out here from these women who got demon claws trying to tell you what is right and wrong in the world, who don't even know what's right and wrong in their own fucking head. Yeah, I hope that just blew your mind a little bit. And it should. Because it's the thing that people don't want to do. They don't want to own up to their own shit. They have no emotional maturity and they don't want to grow as an individual. And that's sad. Because playing victim is easier than taking ownership and responsibility for your shit and the roles that you played in all of your relationship failures. Because no one's perfect. Why it says that there's only one person watching, I don't know. I'm multi-streaming, and all the bigger streamers are probably scooped up all the other viewers right now. And with me returning to streaming, I'm still relatively new out here. So the fact that I even have even one person watching, hey, that's better than zero. But I appreciate that you're here, and I appreciate that you're communicating with me. So props to you for that, Amy. You're more than welcome to share my links, and hopefully you'll have other people who may like my content, and we can all have a conversation about everything that I'm talking about. Speaking of which, if you are watching on YouTube, I would love if you'd hit that like button, that subscribe button, and be sure to leave a comment. More than happy to hear what you have to say. All right. Let's move on to the next video. And in the meantime, let me take care of my cat one more time. Be right back. You're okay, Speedy. All right. And Amy, I hope that that is a compliment. I hope that you're asking that because you like my content and you're wondering why more people aren't watching. That would be wonderful, but I can't do that without your help. So, you know, it's up to anyone who is viewing to choose to like, follow, subscribe on Twitch, Kick, YouTube. You can follow me here on TikTok too, if that's your thing. And that's one massive way for me to grow is through you. All right. So this video here, this is funny, and I get everything that's going on here, but I'm going to dissect it from two different sides and then kind of try and mesh all that together and wrap it up. Because I know exactly what she's doing here, and I get it, but it's the connotation that's the problem.
Sky messaged me, and he said, "You look like trouble." Messaged back and said, "If trouble looks like in a year from now buying a size 9 gold band white oval cut diamond, then yeah, I am trouble." He unmatched me, so.
So I get what it is that she's trying to say here and trying to be witty about it. At the end of the day, she's like, yeah, I'm looking for a relationship. I'm looking for something serious. But the way that she's going about it is so materialistic, it's kind of nauseating. It's funny, sure, but at the same time, like the one thing I want to hone in on is that 1 year is not enough to really know someone and have a real long-term relationship with them. 1 year, that's rushing, folks. And while there are outliers who can be dating for 6 months and married for fucking 10 years, that is not the norm, nor should it be portrayed as such. And I'm also talking from experience here. Like, people rush into marriage for all the wrong reasons, usually because they're lonely. They feel like they're missing out. They see everyone else they know getting married, being married, and they're like, well, I'm not married. Now I need to get married so I can be part of the married crew. No, you don't. That's not true. There are so many other reasons that whole 1 year part of it, like, unfortunately, people will take that and be like, yeah, you go, girl. Yeah, well, let's not make that the standard. Like, I get it. And sometimes, like, instead of just being silly like that, it's better to just say, well, I can be trouble, but I'm looking for a relationship. Are you? So, like I said, there's two sides to this. And in the comments, a lot of these are pretty funny too. Dodged a huge red flag. Okay, I can see that perspective. Yeah, because if you look at it for what it is, it sounds really bad. But she was really just kind of being playful about saying it. But then you go like, oh, I have too many haters in these comments. No, it's not being a hater. It's just a realistic observation to a lot of men, myself included. Like, but that's also the problem with people reacting emotionally to things. In this case, it really was just a playful gesture, but in a lot of cases, it's not. And all they care about is getting that gold oval cut diamond ring more than they care about the person. You see, they want the prestige without the effort in a lot of these cases. Yeah, in 1 year, no, it's crazy. It's true. And more weird to not get married in a year. You should know your person long before you begin dating them. No. You should get to know the person if you don't already know them and you're not orbiting around waiting for this person you're interested in to take interest in you. And so you're just capitalizing on being there when everything crashes and burns. Like, that's not the right way to go about anything either. What's weird is, trying to get engaged and move forward and marry in such a short amount of time, because until you've ever been married, you would be very surprised at the level of shit that a lot of people will hide from you until you get married. And then they just let out the whole bag of tricks. That was what happened to me back in the day. And I always, that was a very abusive moment in my life. So I always say, it never happened. That's how bad it was. I wasn't the one doing the abusive shit. She was. She had BPD and she was bipolar, and she hid that shit so well until she didn't have to anymore, because she had a punching bag at that time. I literally had to plan my escape. That's how bad it was. So this idea of like, oh, well, you need to know your person and get married in a year, or you need to know that you want to marry me in a year. You are so inexperienced. It's not even funny. What you're really doing is trying to use marriage as a mask. Like, that's what people do with a lot of relationships. It's all a mask that they put on so they can ignore all their flaws, learn nothing of their own mistakes, and then open up the bag of red flags and dump them all over the floor like a bunch of jacks to step on. 1 year is just ridiculous. 1 year is nowhere near enough time. You don't know everything about that person. You haven't lived together. Boy, let me tell y'all, for those of you who've never lived with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or been married or anything, dude, there is a difference between being in a relationship, being together, doing things, going out, yada, yada, and actually living together. Huge difference. Because once you're past the honeymoon phase and the sweetheart phase and all that kind of stuff, and then you actually get to live with that person, you're going to learn a whole lot more about them. You're going to learn how they react to stressors. You're going to learn when it's okay to bother them and when it's not okay, and the amount of space that they require from being with you. And space is absolutely necessary in a relationship. But that's something people don't like to talk about because it's uncomfortable, because they need all that social media dopamine from sitting there and making cutesy faces with their partner just to get attention from people who don't give a flying fuck about them. You have to learn those boundaries. You have to learn how to mesh your hobbies together or separately in the things that, you enjoy doing around the house versus what they enjoy doing around the house. Maybe you hate washing dishes and she hates cooking. So you, as the man, do the cooking and she washes the dishes. And because dishpan hands suck, don't need all that shit. But maybe she likes doing the laundry and you like cleaning the house, or vice versa. You much prefer to do the laundry and then she can vacuum, and all those sorts of things that stack up over time that you have to work out and say, okay, I'm fine and happy with doing this and this. And she says, okay, cool. I'm fine and happy doing this and this. And for all the people out there who say, marriage and relationships aren't 50-50, they're 100-100. That is just not even a thing. No, they are 50-50, because you can't be expected to do everything and she can't be expected to do everything. Now, 100% effort on each other's part, sure. But when it comes to sharing the tasks, when it comes to learning your partner, when it comes to giving them space, when it comes to all the internal and external things that must mesh together to make a harmonious relationship, no, it's 50-50. You do your things, she does her things. You come together to do the things that you both love to do together with each other, with each other's friends. And on top of this also comes family. When you are in a long-term relationship or you're married, you're taking on each other's families. So you're going to get to know aunts, uncles, grandpas, grandmas, great-grandpas, great-grandmas, all that stuff. People have no idea the real undertaking of a real and true long-term relationship or a marriage. They just have this fanciful idea in their head, and they think that what they see on the movies or reading these bullshit romance novels is somehow fucking reality. It's not. It's not reality. It's a fantasy. Building a relationship takes much more than 1 year. 1 year is the starting point, and it's not even the finish line. And that's what women today don't want to hear, but you need to hear it. Because if you don't, you're going to live your life with that kind of mindset, thinking that you need to get married and have kids all in 1 year. No. In the cases who do that, and if they are successful, they're such a small minority. The reality is that about 53% of people date for 2 to 5 years before they ever get married. And of those who get into long-term relationships and they jump into it, they fail. They break apart because neither of them did the work on themselves or with each other to really make that relationship work. Think about that. They didn't do the work. And if you don't do the work, how do you expect the relationship to work or to last? And trying to play catch up later on in the relationship adds just as much stress and resentment as not doing it in the first place. Yeah, these are the real bits of wisdom that the world needs to know, not this toxic shit. Again, I'm not even really attacking this woman. Like, I get what she's doing. Ha ha, funny. But it's really just there's a lot of people out here who unfortunately think this way, and that somehow 1 year is enough to know you want to be with someone, know you want to be with someone, and know that you want to marry them. It's not. That's you still in your excitement phase, not in the, hey, we're settling into each other phase. That's when the real growth begins in a relationship. It's not going to stay the same for the next 50 years, 30 years, 40 years. Nope. And once all of that washes away, you still have to be happy with that person, because I promise you, all that excitement is going to start to dwindle. And that's why it's important to know each other's interests, know each other's hobbies, boundaries, be vulnerable with each other, communicate, because that is what's going to keep the relationship going, is communication. Doing new things together, going new places, or even going to the same old places that make you both happy, because it's part of the pattern that you have built with each other over time. That giddy excitement, hoo hoo ha ha phase, man, that shit goes away. And then you're stuck in a position where you're like, well, you're nagging me, you're doing this, you're doing that, but that's because y'all didn't spend the time to get to know each other properly. You didn't communicate well. You were both probably really lonely. You were both probably desperate. You were both probably looking for what you thought you needed or deserved, not what you actually needed or deserved, which is someone who cares, someone who wants to get to know you, someone who wants to go and do things with you, someone who's not going to be super clingy to you. Although that gets into attachment styles and other things that I'm not going to dive into, because that's beyond the point that I'm making. And hopefully the point that I'm making is well received by anyone who views this now or later on. So that's all I've got to say about the dating advice section today. Now we're going to move on to the utter insanity that continues to erode LA, as if LA hasn't been eroded for years anyway. I used to live in California. I lived in NorCal, though. I didn't live in SoCal. So there's nothing intrinsically special about LA anyway, other than you have to stop at LAX to go through the airport and get to wherever the hell you're going. But yeah, no, there's nothing special about Los Angeles anyway. Just like there's nothing special about San Francisco, and I lived not too far away from it when I was in Napa way back in the day, back in 2012 or so. Everything that goes on with these riots and with all of this stuff, it's all bought and paid for. George Soros, NGOs, Open Society Foundation. They're running Craigslist ads offering up to $12,500 a week for all of these people to pretend that they care about the illegal problem. Everyone else that's there is insane or is a military-aged male, because they have been flown in for the past 4 years under Otto Penn and Obama. Because if you are in the know and you know what's going on in the world, Joe Biden, he was executed a long time ago, way back in 2017. You've been seeing actors in masks and clones, and when the truth does come out, you will have your jaw hit the floor. But not only is this going on right now, there are military level and grade planes that are flying in grid patterns. Why are they flying in grid patterns while this is going on? What data are they collecting? How are they manipulating your perception? These things are real. And they are currently occurring as these protests happen, aka this is domestic terrorism. I don't care what you say. You're wrong. This is not a protest. Protests are peaceful. Protests are nonviolent. Protests do not try to kill people. Protests do not try to harm and maim people in any way, whether that's getting home, going to work, taking their kid to school, rushing to the hospital, cutting off access to highways and all these other things. No, that's not a real protest. That's domestic terrorism. And that's why the National Guard has been released. That's why the Marines have been released. And it's going to spread across this country. And then you have to wonder, well, what are they distracting us from? What about the fact that there have been more Chinese students coming in, bringing seriously damaging fungi to destroy crops? You're not hearing about that on the news, are you? Nope. But you're hearing it from me. And guess where these particular people came from? Wuhan. Does that ring a bell? I've said too much. All right, let's take a look at this ridiculousness.
Los Angeles trapped police under an overpass and threw fireworks, signs, and even broken cinder blocks. The National Guard is now on the ground after President Trump ordered federal troops. LA's mayor blames the unrest on the administration's immigration crackdown. Trump says more troops could follow.
Could follow? No, more troops will follow. Think about this, dude. Like, if you really support
under an overpass,
if you really support that, you are just as screwed in the head as every one of those people who have been paid off, who are not of this country. They're illegal immigrants. And all the crocodile tears from all these influencers on TikTok. They don't care about these people. And they don't belong here either. That's why we're getting rid of them. Not only is it the civil course of action, it's the federal and constitutional courses of action. And the National Guard was activated way back in 2017. They've been operational this entire time because we're an occupied nation. I mean, people act like, well, is this World War III? Folks, we've been in World War III since 2016. But no one understands this because they think everything is a conspiracy theory. No, it always ends up being proven, doesn't it? Yes, it does. But the National Guard has been active. The Marines have been active because we're dealing with a terroristic threat. We're dealing with occupation from foreign nations. China, Mexico, Israel. And sorry if you can't stand to hear that, but it's fucking morons like Hassan Piker LARPing that they're doing something great for all these illegals who are sapping our system dry. Meanwhile, he's not doing anything for the world other than exposing himself for being the massive fucking dumbass he is. And he's already been exposed for what he is anyway. I mean, every time this guy opens his mouth, he exposes himself for being stupid. And then I can see people right now, oh, ad hominem, that's all you got. No, actually, it's just reality. Like, to open your mouth and have your vocal cords vomit every time you speak does not make you a hero. To openly support Houthi terrorists and invite them onto your platform to spread their useless message, you deserve all the heat you get. And it's absolutely flabbergasting and totally fucking disgusting. And I have a feeling that eventually Piker's going to go down. He ain't got enough money to stop whatever happens and whatever comes his way, in my opinion. So, this is about to prove my point in what I just said regarding the fact that all of this is bought and paid for. Just like the past 4 years, every single time there's been a protest, there's always conveniently been a pallet of bricks stacked up and waiting. And this has music to it, so we don't need to hear it. But you can see what's right in front of your face, can you not? If you think this is normal, I'm sorry to say it is not. And they're always placed conveniently where all of this shit begins. The epicenter is where it's always placed. But then you're having to ask yourself, well, why is it happening? Because of the things that you believe are fake. You think that the child trafficking stuff is fake. You think that the Epstein stuff is fake. You think that the satanic pedo stuff is fake. It's not. I worked in entertainment majority of my life, between the music industry as a recording and mixing engineer and pro wrestling. I had people that I knew. They weren't friends or anything, but they were people that I worked with frequently over the course of 7 years get arrested for being pedos. Satanic ritual abuse. It's a thing. It's real, and it happens more frequently than you might imagine. And all these people you think give a shit about any of these illegals, or give a shit about anybody other than themselves, really, you're wrong. All the celebrities, they don't care about you. Not even a little bit. These politicians that you go so hard for, they're the reason that your cities are shit. They're the reason that everything is as wild as it is. You know why? Because they want to see everything burn. Because they are going to go down in history as some of the most evil people on earth. Yeah. Need a little silence for you to absorb that one. There were so many guys in the pro wrestling business who would always brag about how they'd be cheating on their wives or what girl they were supposedly participating with, that it was absolutely disgusting. And fortunately, a lot of those guys have been run out of the business. They've been blackballed. They'll never work again. But the fact that it even happens, it's not okay. And it should not be viewed as just some joke or brushed aside as some conspiracy theory. The reality is, you don't want to deal with it. You want to keep on living in la la land, thinking that everything is just peachy keen and fine, when it isn't. And I'm sorry that that's the way that you choose to live. But lying to yourself is not going to make it any easier when everything really starts to go down and the military starts taking over. Because when you learn what we've been trying to tell you for a long time now, and it finally sinks into your head, you're going to wish that you had listened. All right, let's go to this next clip here. And, I'll ask it again. If you think that this is a protest and not domestic terrorism, what are you smoking? It must be something pretty good to be that deluded. But watch this. And then if you can actually justify this or attempt to, you got real problems. Don't catch you slipping now. We don't need that. I really? These are the people that you're trying to protect? You can't justify that. You can't even try to, but you will if you are a fool, a libtard, or just want to bank off the attention. You can't justify that and act like it's okay. If you are a truly civilized individual, you know damn well that isn't okay. Like, I'm going to pose a hypothetical here because, well, what if there was a woman and a child in a stroller and you threw that brick and then that brick bounced off and then bashed that woman or that baby in the head? I hate to be so graphic, but you have to think of these kind of consequences that could arise, that did arise way back in 2020 in very horrible ways. As someone who has been in protests in the past, we're talking, back when Ron Paul was running, we didn't do this shit. Again, what you're seeing here, this is the definition of terrorism. And every single one of them needs to be scooped up, shipped right out. And one thing that all the fake ragers aren't telling you is that, you know what? We're not just kicking them out. We're giving them $1,000 and a free ride home. No other country is going to do that. So you can't say that we're not being humanitarian about it, because technically we are. This level of depravity and chaos is all constructed. And it's constructed to manipulate your emotions. So you stop thinking logically and you start reacting. How dare they? How is that Trump's fault? Without looking at the real facts. It's California leadership's fault. It's the fault of corrupt politicians, corrupt police departments, corruption at state, federal, and local levels. Plus the fact that, again, these are people who've been flown in here from the auto pen in Obama in his third term in the basement, just like he said he wanted to do. These people deserve to go back home and try again. And let's just talk about the whole Trump card thing that people don't understand. It's called citizenship by investment. Many other countries do this. Maldives, Malta, Grenada, Turkey, all of these countries offer citizenship by investment. So if someone wants to pay $5 million to fast track their way here and they can afford it, well, first I'm going to say that's a great thing, because that further means that they can offer something to America to improve America, to offer more jobs, to offer more even potential education opportunities. And I see the other side of the argument too. Hey, I'm equal opportunity here. This could allow for criminals to buy their way in as well. You're right. It could. But that's why we have systems, checks, and balances. And we do background checks on people. The past 4 years, there hasn't been any background checks. There's been open borders, and they've quite literally been flown in. Nothing you couldn't go find out if you watch Monkey Works or you go look at flight data. You can quite literally see them flying all these people in here repeatedly, dropping them off at certain points in California and Texas and Delaware, on the East Coast, North Carolina, South Carolina. That's how this has actually been working. But you're too busy watching the dumb bitches and the Kardashians out here, listening to these people, watching these people who have crocodile tears. They're actors and actresses, and they're trying to further manipulate you. Oh, this is so unfair. And you're kicking them out with their, and making them leave their children behind. Well, you know what? The children can go with the rest of the family too. Everyone's the drain. And that's the facts. But people don't like facts because they want to play virtue signaling justice warrior 2.0, 3.0, and act like this is an RPG. When you do illegal things, there are consequences. And getting booted is the consequence for sneaking in here illegally. But then we get into other caveats, right? We get into the caveats of, like, it's not illegal to be here, but it is illegal to come here illegally. This gets into a whole nother area like visa abuse. That's a big one. Visa abuse often leads to welfare abuse. And if you really want to be educated on visa abuse, go watch that Canadian border show. I forget what the hell it's called, but it's out there on YouTube. Go watch that. If you really want to see how people abuse visas to overstay their welcome without reapplying and trying to fly under the radar, dude, that's one of the big butt kickers out there for America. While foreign exchange is a great thing, unfortunately, all great things can be abused. But our system has an infection that has been leading to all of this sickness that this country has right now. And it's got to be stopped. And there's only one way to stop it. And it's the way that all these fake crocodile tear having people want to do. That's rage, maim, pillage, plunder. Oh, man. Like, I just can't understand anyone who would really try to defend all the things that I just saw and that I just showed you. There's no real defense for it. It's wrong. People are having their businesses smashed. People are losing property. Oh, but their families. Dude, and we have plenty more millions of people in this country with families who need assistance, who need help, real help, that's being drained by all of these people. And You don't have to like it, but it's reality and it's the truth. And if you've ever spoken to anyone who has worked in the system, welfare, food stamps, Social Security, and otherwise, they'll all tell you just how bad it really is. So yes, the Israel thing, we're going to dive into that. And yeah, so with all the peace deals going on right now, Israel just decides to step in here and start attacking Iran. You know why? Because Netanyahu is trying to pin us in the middle. Well, we've been saving Israel for last for a reason. Not only is Israel a refuge for pedos, they're also a heavily genocidal nation, as has been proven for a hot minute now. Not only that, every politician has an IPAC guy, and if you don't know what AIPAC is, you should probably go look it up. But you won't, so I'll go do it for you. The American Israel Public Affairs Committee is a bipartisan pro-Israel lobby group. It advocates for policies that support the U.S.-Israel relationship and works to influence U.S. foreign policy. That right there is a huge problem. And 90% of politicians, if not more, they got someone who's their IPAC guy or gal telling them what they're going to do or what they need to do. To make America better, aka to further infiltrate this country and turn it into their disgusting little playground. Now, this is coming from a top level perspective. I'm not saying this about the people of Israel because they're caught in the middle, just like Americans are caught in the middle of this geopolitical shitfest that is being taken down and this gigantic military operation you're seeing go down. The people are generally not the problem. In many cases, yes, they are. But indoctrination, brainwashing, MK Ultra techniques, Elsa Gate techniques, all of these things stand in the way. And that's what makes certain people absolutely insufferable and totally insane. But the fact that this was done in the middle of these peace talks with Iran was a strategic move. But it also further exposes how far Netanyahu is willing to go to destabilize and continue to destabilize the Middle East. The man is a war-hungry, genocidal maniac. And that's not like the endearing version of the homicidal, genocidal maniac that is Sabu. Rest in peace, Terry Brunk. No, this man is truly genocidal. And if you haven't figured that out yet, I don't know what to tell you other than you better start doing your research on the reality of Israel and Israel-Palestine relationships, because everything was Palestine before it was Israel. And yeah, Israel bombs yet another country, but Israelis are like, pray for Israel. No. Israel's getting the global karma that they have earned. And like, I just don't see other people's point of views here. They're the bad guys. And if you pay attention to what the media is doing, what they're doing is they're projecting and predictive programming all at the same time. They're saying things like, and if you touch a hair on any American, we're going to fuck you up. Well, that's because they want to incite war. We don't want more war. We don't need more war. We need peace. But unfortunately, that peace will not come without some substantial event. And that substantial event is coming. And this is the startup, the buildup to that event is right here, right now. Let me go pull something up to give you an example. Let's hear what good old dipshit Ted has to say.
America. Well, listen, there are two messages that are critical to be heard tonight. Number one, America stands unequivocally with Israel. Period. The end. That is critically important. Israel is acting to defend herself against the existential threat of an Iranian nuclear weapon. But number two, and this
propaganda. Propaganda. Right there. Do you get it, folks? Do you see the problem yet? It took 20 seconds for Ted Cruz to tell you exactly what he wanted. But I digress. Let's let Ted continue burying himself further.
Equally important. Look, we have a very large number of American servicemen and women in bases in the Middle East that are in harm's way. And I want to ask every one of your listeners, every one of your viewers, if you're a person of faith, pray for Israel tonight.
And there comes the appeasement to the Christians, who are also a heavily manipulated group on this planet.
For Israel, pray for Jerusalem, and pray for our servicemen and women, the Americans in harm's way. And a message that I think is critically important, I want the Ayatollah to hear. If you attack American military bases, if you kill even a single American serviceman or woman, I am absolutely confident that President Trump will respond with overwhelming force.
Translation. Hi, I'm Ted Cruz, and my iPad guy wanted me to tell you that we want war with Iran. Thanks for listening. And by the way, don't you forget to pray all those worries away and pray for the support, health, and safety of those troops. That was it. That was all he said. And he's not the only one doing it. Problem, reaction, solution. Right there, that's the reaction phase. What's going to be the solution? Hopefully it's the opposite, which it should be. We shouldn't absolutely pull out and let Iran deal with this problem themselves. But this is all exposing Israel for what it is. It's exposing Netanyahu for who he really is. Oh boy, Mike Pompeo, another corrupt shitbag. Mike Pompeo warns that a major incident could occur somewhere in the world and suggests Iran may be behind it. Oh, because, yes, it's somehow Iran's fault that Israel is attacking everyone. PSYOP. He claims Iran terrorist cells in nearly every country, including the U.S., and says they could soon be activated to launch cyber attacks and other strikes. Well, how long have we been telling you all that there's a Black Swan event coming? Well, it's not Iran, it's Israel. It's really that simple. And China, especially located up in Canada. That's where Chinese are often bunkered. But again, they're also infiltrating. It's infiltration, not invasion. So, you see how all of these people really work? They're taking advantage of your stupidity, of your unwillingness to research, of your inability to think logically. They want you to react emotionally. They want you to get mad. They want you to cry fake crocodile tears for something you know nothing about. And then they want you to be in fear all at the same time. The sad part is, those of you who let it happen, let it happen. You still haven't used your brain. But that's exactly how all of this works.
Careful who you're around in terms of large events, Jewish events. I mean, this sounds like we've gone backwards decades in terms of the threat on Jewish lives. But that's exactly what this is also about.
Harris, I actually think it's just the converse of that. I do agree this could be a very high tension, stressful, and indeed there may be an event somewhere in the world. It's not just the missiles or drones they'll fly to Israel, but the Iranian IRGC, the very leadership the Israelis destroyed last night, has been working in nearly every country around the world, including the United States of America, to plant little terror cells all across the world. Hezbollah was doing the same. So this will be a very difficult period. But in the end, this was not a reckless attack, but indeed what they did was decent and just and righteous, and will reduce.
Really, was it? I beg to differ on that one, Pompeo. We know who paid your bills. We know why you delayed the investigations when you did. You and Bill Barr, because you're both corrupt. But do you see how this works? You see how they project the people who are actually defending themselves as the bad guys? No, I'm not saying Iran is perfect. God, no. I'm not saying anything like that. But typically speaking, most people don't screw with each other. And if they do, it has to be a declaration of war. That's how war works. You have to declare it. And when you just go start attacking people, you're violating the freaking law of war, man. I mean, it's really that simple. But who wants to actually go read the manual? I mean, it's really simple. Whoops, spelled that wrong. But if you want to, and you should, it's in your best interest to go read this manual and then head directly to 11.3 and 11.4, because that is what we're currently dealing with. This thing is long, but (11.3) End of occupation and duration of GC obligations, legal position of the occupying power. As I've said, we are an occupied nation. If you don't know what this means, go read this document and then click there to go to 11.3. The status of belligerent occupation ends when the conditions for its applications are no longer met. Certain GC obligations with respect to occupied territory continue for the duration of the occupation after the general close of military operations. End of occupation. Belligerent occupation ceases when the conditions for its application are no longer met. In particular, as discussed below, the status of belligerent occupation ceases when the invader no longer factually governs the occupied territory, or when a hostile relationship no longer exists between the state of the occupied territory and the occupying power. Israel, China. We've been occupied for a while. And if you really want to go and connect all the dots, just go look at the JFK files. Israel killed JFK. It's really that simple, because JFK wanted to disclose the reality that we're not alone in this universe. Our future could have been so much different if he weren't taken out. But that's okay. Disclosure is coming, and you're going to find out we're not alone, and that people are wearing skin suits and they're not actually humans, they're humanoid, and that everything you know and believe is absolutely false. I mean, if you see everything for what it is, eventually you're going to understand that even religion, to a large degree, is highly manipulative. in that why the pyramids are currently being revealed, because what the pyramids really are is beyond your wildest imaginations. They were never meant to be burial sites. The Egyptians didn't even build them, guys. The pyramids, they were built long before Egyptians ever got there. And I'm willing to bet you the Hall of Records is far, far, far down underneath the pyramids, leading toward some kind of system within the earth. There's so much that's going to be revealed. It's going to make your head spin, and eventually you're probably just going to have to throw up because of how deeply you have been lied to, misled, manipulated, and abused in all sorts of ways. And I'm looking forward to that moment because it needs to happen sooner than later, but it will happen when it happens. But the fact that people do not go and read this document also continues to perpetrate the issues that we're facing today. But this is why the military is being called to action and has been called to action. We've already had a peaceful transition to military power. That happened a while back in 2019 and 2020. 11.4, legal position of the occupying power. Military occupation of enemy territory involves a complicated trilateral set of legal relations between the occupying power, the temporarily ousted sovereign authority, and the inhabitants of occupied territory. The fact of occupation gives the occupying power the right to govern enemy territory temporarily, but does not transfer sovereignty over occupied territory to the occupying power. Everything is very cut and dry. You've got to start researching. Stop watching the news. Stop watching the propaganda. Stop listening to morons like Mike Pompeo, who works for the enemy. Stop listening to morons like Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Kristi Noem. All of these people, they're all deep staters. Always have been. They're the ones misleading you. And Trump is just putting them up there so that way they can expose themselves. He's giving them the rope, and they're the ones letting it happen. They're doing it to themselves, showing you how incompetent they are, how inept they are, and how they protect all of these people, the Epsteins of the world. You don't have to like it, but it's the right strategy. Keep your enemies close. Don't push them away. Bring them in and let them expose themselves. It's all been military strategy from the very beginning. Oh boy. Shows Iranian missiles raining down on Tel Aviv in massive live attack. Israel has never seen anything like this. And do you know why they are, folks? Because they started it. They started it. Israel has started most problems in the world. Not to mention, America and the CIA have started most problems in the world because they work hand in hand. Now, no one wants to see this kind of stuff happen. And it doesn't need to happen. But unfortunately, when you attack someone because you don't like who they are or what they have, they retaliate. And that is a problem. But it's going to get worse before it gets better. Just like most things in life, it gets worse before it gets better. And we're at the worst stage right now. But I guarantee you, we're all globally going to come out of this on top. And peace will be achieved. Not eat the bugs. Not all the World Economic Forum bullshit. No. We won't have any social credit scores. We're not going to go that route. That won't happen here in America. We won't let it. Nor should we. Nor should it be wanted. But what we will do is we'll make America a better place to make the world a better place. And the world will do their part in making their own countries a better place. And while things probably won't be absolutely perfect, peachy keen, compared to the past 20 years, 30 years, it's going to be a whole new world. And I look forward to that day, as we all should. And on that note, folks, that is it for me today. Cosmic Calico out. And if you'd like to follow me at Cosmic Calico X here on the old Twitters, X, whatever the hell you want to call it, you can follow me here. You can subscribe to me on YouTube. Be sure to like and follow. Leave comments on all my content, because without you, I can't grow. And I appreciate all of you who were with me today, who had something to say. And I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And please do not fall for the projection and the propaganda. Do not let the media continue to tell you how to think. Learn how to think. Use the resources that are available to you to research, to discern fact from fiction, and allow yourself to become educated, to truly care about something and someone. Don't let manipulation rule your existence. And don't use manipulation to try to rule another's existence. Because that's not what makes life fun. That's not what brings peace in life to anyone. I'll see you guys next week.